Did you know that your Word documents have hidden scores that can predict how easily your readers will understand your content? Word's readability statistics can help you transform complex, hard-to-read text into clear, accessible content that connects with your audience, whether you're writing for fifth graders or for PhD candidates. Many writers struggle to gauge whether their content is appropriate for their intended audience. Text that's too complex may confuse readers, while overly simplified content might come across as condescending. Without objective feedback, it's difficult to know if you're hitting the right level of complexity. Additionally, many organizations and educational institutions have specific readability requirements for their documents. If you're faced with such a struggle, then you need to become familiar with Word's document statistics and readability features. In this video, I show you how to analyze your writing, understand its complexity level, and make targeted improvements that can help you communicate more effectively with your audience. Let's start by looking at how to access document statistics maintained by Word. I have a document open here that I'll use to demonstrate what Word provides. There are several ways to access the basic statistics that can help you. First, you can display information on the status bar. At the bottom of your Word window, the status bar automatically displays some basic statistics about your document. By default, you'll see the word count, but you can right-click on the status bar to customize what is displayed there. From the options that Word offers, these options are the ones that will be most helpful when you're wanting to consider the various statistics that Word can show you about your document. All you need to do is click on the statistic that you want displayed on the status bar, and Word does so. You can right-click and make choices as many times as necessary to see exactly the statistics that you want. The second way to display document statistics is to use the word count dialog box. All you need to do is jump over to the Review tab of the ribbon and then choose Word Count right here in the Proofing category. That displays the Word Count dialog box. This dialog box shows some of the same statistics that you can display on the status bar, but you may find them more accessible in the dialog box itself. I'm just going to go ahead and close that dialog box. And then the third method to display basic statistics is to use the properties information in the backstage area of Word. All you need to do is click on the File tab of the ribbon, and then click Info at the left side. At the right side of the screen, you can see some information that is very rudimentary in statistics about your document. Quite honestly, this is my least favorite way to display statistics, but you need to know that it's there and that it's available if you want it. If you want to move beyond basic document statistics, then you'll want to have Word do a readability analysis of your document. These statistics measure how easy or difficult your text is to read and provide a powerful way to assess your writing. To view the readability statistics for your document, you need to run a spelling and grammar check. The easiest way to do that is just to press F7. That displays the Editor task pane at the right side of the dialog box. Now, there's various statistics that are in here, and you can see that the numbers underneath the refinements area, they're changing as Word evaluates your document. You can look at some of those possible corrections or refinements that you can do, but I want to draw your attention to just a little bit further down in this task pane here. This Insights option right here. We're going to click on that. It's Document Stats. And that brings up the readability statistics for this particular document. Actually, it doesn't bring them up for the document. It brings them up for the single word that's selected within the document. That's easy to miss in there, but I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this, and then I'm going to make sure that a word is not selected within the document. And now I'm going to go click on Document Stats again, and Word tells me that it needs to finish calculating what those statistics are. This is a 44-page document, so it takes it a while to go through everything. I'm going to go ahead and click on OK to say, yes, I want to see the statistics. And then we wait for just a little while Word compiles the information that it needs to display within the Readability Statistics dialog box. Finally, the dialog box is displayed, evaluating the entire document. The dialog box shows some of the same basic statistics that you saw earlier, but it goes beyond this to display averages. You can see, for instance, that there's an average of 3.5 sentences per paragraph. That information will come in helpful in just a little bit, along with the other information within here. Following the averages, there's a section here that says Readability. There are two scores here that measure how easy or difficult your text is to read. The first is the Flesch Reading Ease score, and the second is the Flesch-Kincaid grade level score. Let's take a closer look at the readability scores and what they mean. The Flesch Reading Ease score ranges from 0 to 100. A higher score indicates text that is easier to read, while lower scores indicate more complex text. A score of 90 to 100 is very easy to read, meaning that it's understood by an average fifth grader. A score of 80 to 89 is easy to read in conversational English. A score of 70 to 79 is fairly easy to read, and a score of 60 to 69 is about an average or standard difficulty. It's understood by 8th and 9th graders. A score of 50 to 59 is fairly difficult. A score of 30 to 49 is difficult, and it's best understood by college graduates. And a score of 0 to 29 is very difficult, and it's best understood by university graduates. Based on this key to scoring, you can see that this document has a Flesch Reading Ease score of 6.1, which means it's considered very difficult and best understood by university graduates. The other score here is the Flesch-Kincaid grade level score, and it indicates the U.S. school grade level needed to understand your text. For example, a score of 8.0 means an 8th grader would understand the text. In this case, you can see that the grade score, or the grade level score, is 19.3, which means into your 7th year of college to be able to understand this completely. Now that you understand what the readability scores mean, let's talk about how to use them to improve your writing. First, it's important to know your target audience. Different types of content have different ideal readability levels depending upon the desired audience. For general public content, you need to aim for a Flesch Reading Ease score of 60 to 70. That is in the 8th to 9th grade level. For academic papers or an academic audience, you typically have lower reading ease scores. You want something in the range of 30 to 50. For children's content, you should have a very high reading ease score, something in the 90% or higher. And finally, for technical documentation, this often falls in the range of 40 to 60. Now, there's some specific strategies that you can use for improving readability. First, you can use shorter sentences. Long sentences with multiple clauses are harder to follow. You need to try to break them up into smaller, more digestible pieces. Second, you can choose simpler words. Replace complex words with simpler alternatives when possible. For example, use start or begin instead of commence. Another example might be to use help instead of facilitate. There's many different choices that you can make here in the words that are in your document. Third, you can reduce passive voice. Active voice is generally clearer and more direct. Instead of the report was written by the team, phrase your thought as the team wrote the report. You can see in the readability statistics for this paper that 15.1% of the sentences are passive in nature. You could help the score quite a bit by reducing that percentage of passive sentences. The fourth strategy to improve readability is to minimize jargon and technical terms. If you must use specialized terminology, consider defining it early in your text and perhaps even explaining why you choose to use that particular terminology. A fifth strategy is to use bulleted lists and numbered lists for complex information. This breaks up dense text and makes it easier to scan. A sixth strategy is to add headings and subheadings. These provide structure and help readers navigate your document easier. And finally, the seventh strategy that you can use is to increase paragraph breaks. Shorter paragraphs are less intimidating and they're easier to read, especially on screen. Before leaving this topic, I want to mention a thing or two about the averages shown in the readability statistics. Sentences per paragraph is important to take a look at. If this number is high, meaning more than 5 or 6, consider breaking up your paragraphs. When it comes to words per sentence, for general audiences, you need to aim for an average of 15 to 20 words per sentence, not have something quite high like there is here of 27.9 words per sentence. And finally, characters per word. This reflects word complexity. A high number indicates that you're using longer, potentially more complex words in your phrasing. It's worth noting that readability statistics do have some limitations. They focus on quantitative measures like sentence length and word complexity, but they don't assess whether your content is well organized, logical, or engaging. You should consider them as tools to help improve your writing, not as definitive measures of quality. For certain types of documents, you might want to track readability over time to ensure consistency across multiple documents. In these cases, you might want to record your readability statistics. That way you can compare them to earlier times when you ran the same readability statistics in a different draft of the document. Words document statistics and readability tools provide valuable insights that can help you tailor your writing to your audience. By understanding and improving your readability scores, you can create content that communicates more effectively, whether you're writing for fifth graders or for PhD candidates. Remember again that these tools are guides and not rigid rules. The more important thing is that your writing achieves its purpose and connects with your readers. Start using these features regularly and you'll develop an intuitive sense for creating content at just the right level of complexity for your audience. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, you might consider signing up for the free Word Tips newsletter. Information is in the notes just below this video. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today.